Hello, this is Crypto CJ. It's the trade of the day, Friday afternoon Zoom edition. And we've had a pretty good week in crypto. Bitcoin and Ethereum mostly up this week. We had some good financial news on Wednesday the 1st. And so yesterday we had a jobs report that took the market down a little bit, but not much. So we'll see if how inflation holds up. The Fed only raised the basis point or the basis rate 25 points. We're hoping to see that trend continue, that decreased rate hike trend. Anything that keeps that indicates that inflation is in control is good for crypto, the markets overall. So even though it is annoying that we have to keep an eye on seemingly unrelated markets like stocks and bonds and such things, it affects all at-risk assets. So it's a good idea to know what's going on with the Fed. Let's go to my Bitcoin chart and check out how it's doing. Okay, you should be seeing my Bitcoin day chart. Usually Craig would say yes. So if you're not
Yep,
seeing
I
it,
see
speak
it.
up. Thanks, Oliver. All right, so this is the range we've been in since June, and we are topping up. We did break above 24K yesterday briefly, but we didn't close there. Closed around 23.5, and today we're down a little bit from there. So 55% range towards the top. Looking forward to breaking this 24.5, then breaking above 25, which I think is a psychological resistance area, and then there's a pretty straight shot up to say 28 and 30. But there's a lot of resistance at this point. So I mean, we can see it here recently, then here again back in July. So we haven't been above 25 since mid-June. So, and there's all kinds of prognosticators out there talking about it'll be Q2, Q3, end of the year before Bitcoin really makes a move. We could just be going sideways, in and around this channel for a while. Not sure. Okay, Ethereum. My computer's a little pokey. It's not showing up. That's a bummer. It was similarly situated in a channel like this between 1000 and I think 1980 was the highest it's been in 6-7 months. So it's trading right around 1600 at the moment. Actually moving up towards 1700. So all right, there we go. Yeah, 1668. And again, a little ways to go before we get to the top of the channel, but trending up pretty well since the beginning of the year. Since January 1st, we've gone as high as 42%, right around 38% at the moment. So both doing well since the beginning of the year. Any questions, comments, rumors, speculation regarding Bitcoin, Ethereum, and the markets overall before we go to Altcoin Alert? Okay, we're quiet today. All right, here we are over on Altcoin Alert. I've got the altcoin radar setting up. I don't care for the dashboard. I want all the information. So I'm on the altcoin radar. And the first sort I do, there's a few different ones that I like. I like to sort by the AA score, by the long-term sentiment, and or the Elder Impulse Daily, and I'll go over those in more detail at the moment. Today we'll start at the AA score. I'm gonna click this again, update it, showing Cream Finance, very bullish at 83.9. I'm actually in this one today. It's gone sideways most of the day. But what this number is telling us and this is separate from these other values. What this is telling us is there's an 83.9% chance that cream finance will go up 3% or more in the next 48 to 72 hours. So that's what I'm curious about. But I'm not just going to take their word for it and jump in. I want to do some at least basic technical analysis to determine a good entry point. So I'm going to go over to the cream chart. Just happen to have it handy. I'm on the 5-minute. Turn these off. And the first thing I'm looking for is an existing 1, 2, 3 dip. That's one of my favorite strategies. And here's sort of an example of one right here from yesterday. 1, 2, 3, and then here's where you get in on this green candle. And to the SMA line would be 1.73%. To resistance would be about 2.4%. I probably would have taken the resistance option as my exit, 2.4%. That would have been out here about 3.5 hours later. We like piling up these 2 and 3% trades, and if you do that with some consistency, you can build your balance up pretty quickly. So that's how I like to trade. When I first started, I would do this on spot trading, like on Coinbase or KuCoin. I used to trade on Binance when that was allowed, but in the last probably year and a half, I've been trading on leverage. So I do that on Bybit and BitGet. And a trade like I just showed you would be at 10x leverage. So that would be like a 20 to 30% gain for me. And, we love that. Of course, if it goes against me, the losses can be pretty bad too if you're on leverage. So don't do leverage until you're very comfortable with spot trading. Okay, so what do we do now? We don't have a 1, 2, 3 dip set up in front of us. What we have is, the Bollinger Bands, these two green lines just kind of squeezing together. They're only 1% apart. So this could do anything. It's really hard to predict at the moment. So what I want to do is I want to set some alerts to get a better entry. There's a couple of ways to do it. The easiest is to try to figure out support. See, showing a red candle now. Is it going to come down and then go back up again? Something like this. If I draw a line here where I see support, see these candles clumped here and again around here. I'm going to click that line, and it's showing me about 1280 would be a good entry because it's bend down in this area and bounce back, bend down here, bounce back. So that's what I call a price alert. You right click wherever you want the price alert to be. I'll get rid of this line for the moment. And it's 1280. So right click here, add alert. I like round numbers, so 1280. And for the alert name, I like to use the information source. So that's going to be the AA score. And TradingView will remember whatever you type in here. So AA score purchase, and you're good to go. So when that goes off, you want to reevaluate, because if it's dropping like a knife, you don't want to get in yet. You want to see how that's playing out. But if it drops and then it prints a green candle and looks like it's starting to go up again, and then you might want to get in at that point. But those of you who've attended my Zooms frequently know that I prefer indicator alerts. This is a little next level. If you're brand new, you may not be familiar with all these indicators, but I'm going to show them to you. I've made a change. I've kicked out the RSI. It's not frequent enough, and I added the stochastic RSI, which is a little more sensitive, actually a lot more sensitive. We'll talk about that in a few minutes. For now, we'll go to the oldies but goodies. If you want to trade the trend, the trend is your friend, then I've been using the SuperTrend lately. So I'm going to click that on. And I've made an adjustment to its settings. The default ATR period is 10. I changed it to 5. I want to be a little more sensitive. And what I like about the super trend. There's dozens of trend indicators on TradingView. You can find that here. Click indicators, type in super, and all these will come up. These are the ones I've starred. If you haven't starred anything, then it'll look like a long list like this. I'm using this one by Kevon. One of these two. I can't remember which one it is, but both of them are fine. Or if you want to look for other trend indicators, type in trend, and a whole bunch of them will come up. I've used half trend, alpha trend, whole trend, shaft trend I like. So these are all potential trend-based indicators you can try. But super trend is really easy. If you right click on it, you want to put an alert on it, you can use a buy alert, a sell alert if you're shorting it on leverage, or one of my favorites is a super trend direction change if I want it to trade as it's going up and down. This is a little better to do on longer time frames. And use once per bar close. That'll keep it on all day. And it'll also prevent repainting. Sometimes a sell sign will flicker or stay on for a couple minutes during the candle and then go away. You don't want that. So yeah, once per bar close will prevent that. And then the alert name, call it whatever you want. But again, I like to use the information source. So it would be a score purchase.
All right, Nicole. Well,
Hey, Oliver, you're on, buddy.
When you call, somebody get back to that. No problem. It wasn't that important. I mean, I was just listening. So yeah, I'm gonna get back to it. Thank you.
Gotta mute him. There we go. Had this problem on Monday. Okay, so that's the super trend. And most of them have done pretty well. This one did not. This one dropped, almost 5%. Then it shot up, 2%. So that's not bad. Had you not gotten in on that one at, when did that one trigger? Well, it was 11 in the morning. I would have been up for that. This one here at 11 at night, this would have been a really good entry. It just stayed in the whole time, almost 5%, well, over 5%. I probably would have gotten out around here, around 3%. I set most of my take profits immediately after I initiate the trade. If you have time, there is some value in hanging around your computer and watching these things, because then you can get these bigger moves. And then there's some more advanced techniques like selling portions of your entry, and then there's also a trailing stop loss option that I used earlier in the week with success. So that was kind of cool. But when I first started, and still most of my trades today, I set a take profit based on resistance pretty much immediately after I make the trade. And then I go away. I don't want to watch it at that point. Okay, so that's the super trend. A more advanced option is divergence. I have two divergence indicators here that I use. Divergence is simply a disagreement between the indicator and the candle action. So unfortunately, I don't have the indicators up here that correspond to this. This particular divergence from many indicators, just like it sounds, it's got about 8 or 10 different indicators. It'll flag when there's a divergence. As you can see, they often have a predictive quality to them. This is bullish divergence. So the candle action is down, but these three divergences, RSI, the relative strength index, the momentum indicator, and the volume weighted MACD, all three were pointing up. So, if you got in here, that's a confirming candle, the green candle that prints, you're ahead of the game here, the 7% move. But, it's not always accurate. This one here, it did go up 1.2%, but then fell. So these can repaint. So I didn't trade divergence till I've been a trader for over a year. If this is a little over your head, don't worry about it. Stick with the trend indicator or the support alert I showed you earlier, and try to get your head around this, because I think divergence can be really valuable in certain markets. So, and it's easy to put an alert on this too. Right click on it. Do you want negative? You want positive? It's like hidden and regular. Just use don't concern yourself with that. Just go with either positive or negative once per bar close, and call it what you want. Okay. And then the final one I want to show you is the stochastic RSI alert. Now we've been using RSI alerts for the past a couple months, but today I'm switching over to the stochastic RSI. And I think it's a little too sensitive on the 15. You might want to go on the 30-minute or the 1 hour. I'm going to go on the 1 hour today because I know I have some swing traders in here. We prefer to hold trades for a couple days, and that's towards the longer end of when one would be in a altcoin alert trade. So what we're trying to do in this situation is catch one of these on the bottom of the stochastic RSI coming back up. So a good example would be, say, this one right here. So as you can see, the lines come back up, and the K line crosses I forgot what that one's called. The K line is the blue line. Just remember that one. So when the K line's up on top, that's bullish generally. When it's crossing the 20, we're using the 80 and the 20 instead of the 70 and 30. So when something's at the 20, it's usually considered oversold. If it's at the 80, it's usually considered overbought. Oversold tends to come back on the positive. Overbought tends to drop on the negative. So you can put your alert here. As you can see, when that's triggered, it would have done, kind of gone sideways for a while, dropped here. But 7%, I probably would have looked for a return to this area, this resistance. So 8% in 3.5 days. Yeah, it's a pretty good day. It's a pretty good swing trade. And to set an alert on this, you right click, add an alert, crossing. It'll default to the K. You want your K crossing up, and your value is going to be 20. Okay, I know the stochastics new. Is that any questions on that, or anything else I showed you for Crean?
Yeah, TJ.
Mm-hmm.
Divergence for many indicators. Is it the lonesome? There are several versions. Which version are you using?
It's the version 4.
Version 4? Okay.
Yeah, so it's
And
lonesome.
that's the lonesome something.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
this one. It's this one here. I got it up on the screen.
All right. Yeah, that's the one I'm looking at. Sure.
Yeah. And I changed some of the settings just on the visuals on that one. So I put them red and green. I think they're blue and yellow on the
By default, yeah.
which I didn't care for. I want to use red and green. That's what I'm used to using on
Right.
pretty much all my indicators. So
All right.
all right. Any other questions before we look at another one on Altcoin Alert?
Yeah, why did you use this stochastic RSI instead of the other?
I thought the RSI, the regular one, wasn't sensitive enough. It just was hardly ever, triggering. So I was annoyed by that. I could just change the settings to it, but I'm in another trade. I'm in a trading group with a lot of people who love the stochastic, and I've had a love-hate relationship with it, so I'm trying it again.
Okay.
I might make it just less sensitive, actually. So the RSI length is 14. If I drop this to increase to 20. Yeah, I don't know, I may have to tinker with that. So, but you see here on the 15-minute chart, it's going off quite a bit.
Right.
You know, 1, 2, so that's on the first. Here on the second, it went off, you know, 4 times on the second. And I'm looking for is like an RSI that's going to go off, you know, maybe 2 or 3 times a day. So,
Okay.
but obviously that has a lot to do with what the market's doing.
Yeah.
All right. Any other questions on this cream setup? Okay. Let's see what else we can find. I had this one chart up. So yeah, I think I did a long-term sentiment sort. Yeah, I was looking at this one here. All right, you can long-term sentiment is you can hover over this question mark and it'll tell you what it is, but it's essentially what people are talking about on Twitter. That's some of the value of Altcoin Alert is that it accumulates Twitter data to see what people are talking about, which can have some influence on price movement. And then we have the Elder Impulse Daily, which is a technical indicator. It combines a couple well-known indicators, one being the exponential moving average, or EMA, and another one's a MACD, so moving average, convergence, divergence. So if I see something that combines long-term sentiment bullish and Elder Impulse Daily bullish, that's something I want to look at some more. We've already looked at cream. I'm actually in this ILV trade, but I wanted to look at this one here, Harmony, which is bullish and bullish on both. And there's several of them that meet the criteria. So I'm going to trade on something I know has pretty good volume. XRP just came in there. It wasn't here earlier. We'll look at that one after this. But One, or Harmony, is an older coin. It's been around for, I don't know, 4 or 5 years, just old by crypto standards. So I've got the 5-minute chart up at the moment. And again, I don't see a dip sequence right away. Quite a bit of distance though. It is starting to bubble out a little bit, the Bollinger Band, so we could be up, could be in for something. I'm seeing some support here in the 5-minute chart. We're pretty close to it, 0.2774. A little bit here, around 2677, and then quite a bit down here before the big pump today, right around 0.025. So those are potential areas. If you don't want to deal with indicators yet, you're not comfortable with that, you might want to set a couple alerts. Say, let's put the lines up so you can see where I'm looking. You've got this area, and this area. So these are the 3 places I would put alerts if I were looking to, well, not the first one because it's already there. But the others, that's where I would look to get in. Not financial advice, but. All right, so let's bounce over to the 15-minute chart and look at the indicators. SuperTrend has done really well. I think this is what caught my attention when I was looking at it earlier. Like this green, this one went off. You know, that's on Wednesday, and 14% move. And this short, would have been pretty nice, almost 3% move. And then this buy here, obviously shot way up. So the last 3 SuperTrend alerts were profitable. So right click, add an alert. It's already on buy once per bar close, and this is going to be a long-term sentiment. And good to go. I think I already have this alert up, so. Now, when you're using a super trend, you're going to want to correlate those with other indicators. Any trend-based indicator, you should make sure it jives with another. So on this buy right here, I've got the stochastic RSI up, and this other one, this TDFI, which is a trend direction force indicator, also in the green, though these are both the top of the range. So I'm not sure if I would have taken that up there. It really just goes sideways anyway at first. And then I might use this as a confirmation, like wait till it drops and then comes back up for like a retrace. So let's say this alert goes off and this is way up here. This is way at the top. I'm going, no, I think I'm a little late on this one. But I'll get back in if it drops and comes back up. So in that situation, you do a second indicator alert. Your super trend goes off already, and you're going, okay, I want a stochastic RSI to let me know when it dips and comes back. So I'm going to add an alert, crossing up, 20 once per bar close, and I call this a confirmation alert. So confirmation. Now, when you're using something like divergence, this is where you're being sort of a contrarian. You're trying to go to catch the bottom of a pivot, or a trend is ending and a new one's beginning. So you're not going to get confirmation from other trend-based indicators, obviously. So you can ignore those when you're using divergence. And if you want to use bullish divergence, right click here, and we've gone through this already, so I'm not going to do it again, but that's how you would, if you want to set up a divergence alert with the divergence for many indicators version 4 that Oliver and I were talking about moments ago. And then I use this other one here, this non-repaint, for additional confirmation, because sometimes this will get new information and move, which we call repainting. So, but overall, I still like the indicator, even though it repaints sometimes. And then finally, let's go to the 30-minute chart. And on the stochastic RSI, these alerts would have worked pretty well. At least the most recent one that dropped below the 20 and came back up was this one here. It shot up. These two did not work as well, but they recovered eventually. So this would have triggered, and this would have triggered, and that would have triggered. So you'd have been in the negative a little while before coming back up. But the rest of these did pretty well. This one back here on Wednesday. Went down about 5% before coming up, 11%. So yeah, you can get on a wild ride on some of these sometimes. Okay, any questions on one or Harmony? Okay. We're gonna look at XRP, I think. That was another one on the Altcoin Alert long-term sentiment. Well, actually, let's do a different sort. We're at about half an hour. I'm talking more than usual. So long-term sentiment, Elder Impulse. Yeah, I'm looking for the same thing. If I sort by elder impulse, my match comes up here on XRP. And there's another one down here for Polkadot. So let's look at XRP. Okay, on the 5-minute chart. Very squeezy. And this is an example of a 1, 2, 3 dip. 1, 2, 3, boom. Get in here. It only goes up about 1%. I don't care for that. Yeah, I'm gonna bail on XRP because it's just not moving very well. Let's look at the 15-minute. And SuperTrend. Yeah, these aren't doing anything. Yeah, that goes at like, these are below 1% profit. So this one here had a big move on Wednesday, but everything moved on Wednesday after the, but even on here on the 15-minute chart with move that big, it's only 3%. So nah, I'm not liking that. So however, it's less likely you'll lose a lot if you, some blue chips like, XRP, Link, Dot, so some of those don't move as much, and so they're safer. And if you pile up 1% wins, you can do pretty well for yourself. But after looking at, the prior coins, One and Cream, they were way better prospects than XRP. So I'm gonna bail on that one, go back and see what else we can find. Another one we can do is a 24-hour change. You can do this on pretty much any, any information source, CoinGecko or, I forgot what they are now. Some of the some of the free ones to use. TradingView has this kind of thing too, but I just find it more convenient to use on Altcoin Alert because I always have this up. So these are some coins I've traded before: Ren, FET. We looked at Harmony, Waves I like, Illuvium I'm in, but it's fairly new. So those are all potential, but when they're high double digits, like 20% or more, sometimes I think they're played out. But like 8 to 15% is the sweet spot, I think, for something that could potentially keep going. So let's look at Waves. That one's been around for a while. Okay, the 5-minute. It's been going sideways since early this morning. So I don't really see an entry at the moment. If you're using if you're looking for a place to set an alert for price, for support, this 280 area looks good. Actually, yeah, these are real obvious to me anyway. Bunch of touches right around 280 and quite a few again down here around 258. So those are the two areas I would put alerts. On the 15-minute chart for indicators, SuperTrend. Let's look at the recent ones. 2.7% on that short. This buy went sideways and then shot up 15%. So those are really good.
That most recent buy was so off of the RSI chart. The buy all the way to the right. There you go, to the right, right at the beginning of the
Have
Bollinger
fun.
Band.
All right.
Okay, so RSI, you mean the stochastic here?
Yeah. It's like totally indicator.
Well, the buy kicks in here. And okay, so I think your point is that it's already at the very height or pretty close to the top of the stochastic.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
so if I were looking at that, I would hesitate going in based on that
Mhm.
RSI, or would I just go on the super trend? Obviously, go on the super trend, but how do I know
Yeah,
which
you're not going to know
one
this.
to trust?
I mean, it could just as easily drop like that. So, yeah, tough call. To be candid, I probably would have been around here. Yeah, I'm gonna have to rethink. I just added this to my charts today, thinking it would be better for entries, but as a confirmation, it's not very good. It's too sensitive. Because like here on the buy, it's showing at the top of the range, which it
Right.
shouldn't be. And on TDFI, it's showing just right, just starting to trend above, the 0 line. So that's a good confirmation there. Yeah, I'll have to think about this. I have to put another indicator in here for confirmation and just use stochastic for entries. But that's a good point. Thanks for
Sure.
speaking up. All right. So for the contrarians, and I like dip trading myself. That's my favorite. Yeah, these bullish divergences did pretty well. They dipped a bit at first, and then caught this big move. So those worked out really well. And the short ones did too. There's one printing now at the moment. So yeah, I might well, we'll do that in the next one. Because the next one we're going to wrap up with is our short of the weekend. So I always like to have a short going over the weekend. Usually comes because volume's lower, but lately hasn't been as consistent. 'Cause weekends have been mostly in the green, but that won't stop me from doing what I usually do. So any questions on waves? Oh, let's go to the RSI, go to the 30-minute chart, click these off. And most of these on the 20 coming back up did pretty well. Breaks up here and then goes up, breaks up here, drops and then goes up. That one did really well. So yeah, RSI is an entry. Again, seems to be better than its confirmation. Okay, let's see if Altcoin Alert can also find us a stinker. For those of us who trade leverage, this is for you. Blue, and it also has to be a coin that's available on an exchange. Not every coin, actually only probably 5 to 10% of coins are available for leverage trading. So, but I know the Blue Zell is one of them. I traded this one before. It's down 8% today, though it's got some positive entries on some of these other columns, but I'm going to look at it anyway as a short. Negative 8%. So let's look at BLZ. And not seeing an entry now. Instead of a 1, 2, 3 dip, I'd look for a 1, 2, 3 pump. 3 pumps over the top of the Bollinger Band and then a drop. Something like this: 1, 2, 3, and then drop. 1.6%, but doesn't drop very much, about 1.5, and then goes back up again. But then you get this big drop here. So that would have been a good day trade, 4% in 5 hours. I'm probably going to be at 5 or 10x leverage. So that's going to be, 20 to 50% if I follow it all the way down. I probably would have looked at this. This area down here is support. On the long, you're looking for resistance. As your exit on shorts, you're going the opposite. You're looking for support as your exit. You don't want to buy short down here, or on support. Okay, so if you want to set an alert, it's mostly trending up, which makes a short dangerous. In a market that's mostly trending up, you'll need to use a stop loss. I haven't talked about stop losses or ladder buying, dollar cost averaging, that kind of thing yet. I do have videos from 2021 where I talk in depth about ladder buying. That's something to do potentially when a trade goes against you. It tends to work better on longs in trending up markets, which is kind of what we're in now. I've tried to use it on shorts and it didn't work that well. So make sure if you're doing a short, I suggest a stop loss. All right, so let's go to the 15-minute chart. Look at our super trend. And this sell did pretty well. Looks like. Yeah, dropped about 9%. We like that. We had a sell signal print 245 2 hours ago, but you know, it's gone up 4%, so not so good. The stochastic RSI just crossed over on the negative, and the TDFI is pointing down. So if you're interested in this trade, you might want to. Yeah, I probably wouldn't get in now. I'd look for another sell entry. Right click on here, add an alert. Super trend sell once per bar close. That was my AA 24-hour change sort. And I'm in. So that's, I got my alert ready to go for my Friday afternoon short. If you want to use divergence for your indicator, or even both, you know, a bunch of these printed, didn't really do much though. This one, that's not bad, 3% on leverage. So, yeah. And then on the 15, or sorry, on the 30, for the stochastic RSI. Yeah, this one came up and went. So we're looking for the orange line to cross over the blue, heading down above, you know, breaking the 80. That's this entry right here. So you get in right about here. Goes well, up 11% at first. That's not good. If you're on 5 or 10x leverage, you can get liquidated. So again, that's where you have to use stop losses. But then it goes down 12%. So again, this is, you know, something's pumping like this, the market's pumping, shorting can be a bit scary. It's usually more fun in a negative in a downtrending market. So if you're brave, you want to do that. Set an alert here. Okay, crossing down on 80 once per bar close and a 24-hour change, and you're good to go. All right, any questions on Bluezell?
Hey, CJ.
Yeah.
Which version of the super trend do you have on your chart? There's so many in the indicators.
Yeah, there are. What the heck? Who's quacking on my Zoom? Can never remember how to mute all. All right, your question, which super trend, right?
Yes.
It's one of these two. I think it's this one, but it could be the Everget one, but I think it's this one.
Everget.
They're very
Yeah.
similar. And again, a quick note, I changed the ATR from 10 to 5, so.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Any other questions on Bluezell? Oh, here we go. Mute all, that's how I do it. Okay, I've muted you all, so no more noise. But unmute yourself if you want to ask a question. All right, well, that's all I have proactively for the Altcoin Alert Friday afternoon Zoom. Any other questions before we break away for the weekend? If you are in Carbon, stick around. We'll do that one next. If you're watching on the recording, thanks for doing that. We hope to see you live on Monday or next Friday. And then please check out the opportunities in the pinned comment. They help fund the channel, and I'll let you go for the weekend. If you're in Carbon, stick around. If you're curious about Carbon, you can also stick around. If you don't care about Carbon, you can go. Have a good weekend, everyone.